Bust it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform.
Thanks for joining us on Political Platform. Thanks as we always have the pleasure of you tuning to us. And for those who listen to us on AIT at 6 p.m., we also are grateful. And around the world, those who get onto our YouTube channels, our YouTube channel to listen to the program, watch and hear what we have got to say, we also express our appreciation to you. We'll be talking about the herdsmen this morning and the crisis in Benue. And of course, it's one that we have talked about over the years. And if you ask me, I will tell you that it borders simply on incompetence and lack of capacity of the Nigerian people, all of us, to handle the matter. You will say, well, it is government. Well, it is not just government alone, but the government should take the lead in providing solutions. This latest one we have had now, the colony, the cattle colony we are talking about now, is one that we need to educate ourselves about. We have heard of ranching, we have heard of all manner of suggestions. It's like I said, incompetence and lack of capacity to deal with the situation is what is making all of us to run around in a circle and declare days and months of money all the time that they happen. We'll be going to Okpe too. A very ugly one was said to have happened in Okpe in the local government elections that took place in Delta State on Saturday, where a candidate was declared the winner, but a different candidate was issued the certificate of return. We hear that it was desperation in Delta State to get the PDP on the foothold ahead of the 2019 elections because of Kowa, as it were, who want his men on ground, and they wanted to prove to him that they are capable of doing it, so they did it in any way that they could probably do. We'll be talking to a professor this morning, a professor at the university, an associate professor at the University of Delta State University, who incidentally is also an APC leader in Okpe. So we'll be talking to him to share his views with us. Our colleagues in Delta State are trying to get to the PDP to also find out if we can get somebody to talk to. We are still working on that, but I believe we should be able to also talk to somebody on the other side, the PDP in the state. And if our invitation to Kola Ologbondiyan works, if he's joining us, we also have him to have to begin to debate the elections that are on. The Independent National Electoral Commission has come up with a timetable. This is apparently the final timetable. So the ban on political campaigns is off the lead August 17, and we have all of them tailing up to the final elections on March the 2nd for the gubernatorial elections and the state assembly and the FCT elections in the local government. Now we have all the reports for you, all the details and the detailed analysis of these reports. We also have a harvest from the mailbox, politicalplatform@yahoo.com, where we will share the views that you have on these sundry developments in the Nigerian political environment. Okiri Agbonsuremi is my name. I have Uju Eje on the program this morning. Uju, welcome to the program.
Okiria, the issue of the herdsmen crisis, farmers crisis, is one that if we don't do everything possible to tackle it now, is one that can cause a bigger crisis in this country. And everybody involved, all the authorities involved, should put on their thinking cap and come up with solutions so that we do not jeopardize the unity of this country.
And Adebayo Boduro is also on the program with us this morning.
Here it's nice to be back on the platform after the
after going to Jerusalem,
Rome, Greece.
by foot. I hear you cross the Red Sea.
No, it was not. It's a vacation, but I decided to make it look spiritual get closer to my God. Well, Ohiria, the primary responsibility of government is to ensure the security and also facilitate the welfare and well-being of the citizens. When government is unable to do that, I think something is seriously wrong. And Nigerian constitution is not different from other constitutions we have around the world. It is the primary goal of government.
Yes.
So when you start having killings, as if we don't value life any longer, it's a terrible thing for us as a nation. That human beings have become goats. They have become chicken that you can just hack down anyhow, and nobody cares. I think it is terrible.
I think the embarrassing aspect of it is that even while it was going on, and the president and the president and the presidency in Abuja appear to be running helter-skelter how to look for a solution, and they are ordering the IG to leave his seat, as if IG should be told to leave Abuja to go and do his job. Policemen were, even in the course of trying to, 2 policemen were killed because of the matter. Dr. Amechi Anekwe is also on the program this morning. Amechi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Hira. That's where I miss former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He has been the most patriotic since the return of democracy in 1999. He's one man that could have resisted primordial sentiments, would have resisted a lot of pressure to nip this problem in the bud. He has his own drawbacks, but when it comes to Nigeria, since 1999, I've never seen a more patriotic president than Obasanjo. On the annex timetable, I said it, 2018 is the main thing. 2019 is the election. February 19, the presidential and national 16 presidential and national assembly. Yes. Then March 2nd, 2 weeks after, the governorship and state houses of assembly. But the bulk of the activities is 2018. So a lot will happen, like you said some 2 days ago on this program. We'll see less of governance and more of politics.
And Hijama Salmon is here. She was there, and her eyes and ears at the Independent National Electoral Commission. Are they ready? Are they set? Are there things? I got somebody yesterday who said she walked to the INEC office in Abuja, AMAC, to say, look, my voting point is in Kano. I want to vote in Abuja. And they said, no, we are not attending to that set of people now. We are attending to only those people who have who want to register to vote, who the periodic the continued voter registration. Is INEC actually ready? I mean, do they have the capacity? Do they have the funding? Do they have all that it takes to really conduct this election?
Oh, here we are. If you talk about INEC being ready, I cannot say categorically, because I am not one of them. I'm a reporter. I'm from the outside. But from the various briefings that the chairman has been briefing the journalists and also meeting with political parties, they've been able to make us understand that even if they ask them to conduct the elections today, they can't handle it. And because they came up from the beginning of 2017, they came up with 5 long-term strategic plan, which they introduced to political party members and also the executive. They also told the journalists about it too. And it was even last year, for you to know that they actually are ready for the election. It was last year they came up with the election timetable for presidential election for 5 years. So what they have now, the timetable, election date, I beg your pardon, the timetable that was released yesterday will only tell you that in the next 5 years, that particular day, February 16, will be used. And on the issue of continuous voter registration, that person, that lady who told you that she went there, I think what she should have done is to write INEC that she wants to transfer a voter's card. It's a process. You don't just go to the desk and say, I want to vote in Abuja. You will formally write. When you write, you
attach your
details to it, and they will give you time. When they are doing the next CVR, you will be given, when they are doing collection of voters card, you definitely will be given your own too. It's not just walking into the INEC office and say, I want to vote here. No, you need to start the process.
But the person should be told what to do.
No.
I mean, if you go to INEC office, look, I have my point of registration in Kano or in Edo, but I now want to vote here. You should be taken to a desk to say, give us these details and harvest those details. But if you ask to go back, come back next time because we are not attending to those people.
If any government as a reporter can give this kind of information, I wonder why the
official cannot
be unable to provide a similar details. But talking of the preparedness of INEC to conduct the election and their boast that they are ready. On what basis? What are the legal basis for the conduct of this election? The Electoral Act is still being amended. The process of amending the Electoral Act is still going on in the National Assembly.
So they don't even know the framework. Basis,
and you think you're ready. I think INEC should insist on early amendment of that act. Are we going to use the reader to transmit results? The Senate has passed. Work is still going on the National Assembly. These are things we need to.
Will the president sign it?
Sign it. Are there funds? What are the provisions in the 2018 budget for INEC? These are the realistic things they must tackle before boasting.
Okay, let's hold the fire. Let's go to our mailbox. Let's harvest from our esteemed viewers and listeners who will have opinion on what they think the situation should be. Politicalplatform@yahoo.com. Let's see who is talking to us this morning.
Thank you for joining us on the mail segment. I am Ifeanyi Nwobi.
And I am Chidima Inye. Thank you.
Let's start with this mail coming from Shuaibu Abdullahi in Juko, Abuja on Benue crisis. And he says, the presidential order to Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris to quickly restore peace and stability in Benue State is commendable, as this will put a stop to the ongoing killings in the state for now. But this is not the solution to the killings in Benue State. In my opinion, such order is a fire brigade approach to issues. It's obvious that our leaders don't take precautionary measures. They prefer difficult solutions. The killings in Benue State have lingered for too long without a lasting solution. I expected the concerned leaders to set up a panel of investigation to know why the herdsmen, who were known to be friendly and accommodating in the past, have turned into killers overnight. What are their grievances? Unfortunately, nobody asked these important questions. Who should we blame for these failures? Should we blame our president, the governors, or our traditional rulers who understand the characters of everyone living with them in rural communities? In fact, if nothing is done to secure the lives of Nigerians in the nearest future, Nigerians may decide to defend themselves. May God guide our leaders to the right path.
And still in that light, Adams Abakba in Gwarimpa, Abuja writes, their crew, the IG of police may be in Benue State today. Will it also be in Adamawa, Kaduna South, and all other parts these Fulani herdsmen are still ravaging? Are these herdsmen stateless that they want lands in other states for grazing so badly? Yam is consumed all over Nigeria. Yet, yam farmers have not asked for land in every state. Petroleum products are used in all states, yet no one has asked for land for refining crude oil in all the states. Why are the Fulani herdsmen fighting to own lands, to settle and graze openly? Why is the agitation so high in this regime? Enough of the insult on our sensitivity. The president must be bold to do the needful. Sambiza Forest is good enough for grazing.
And that's all we can bring to you on today's mail segment. Do keep it coming. Don't forget to state your name and where you're writing from. The route hasn't changed. It's still Political Platform at yahoo.com.
Thank you so much for staying with us on the platform. Thank you for all your mails. Now we'll be going straight to Okbe. We'll be going straight to Okbe in Delta State to meet with an associate professor in Delta State University, Professor David Zonobo. He's the leader of OPC. Okay, in Okbe. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Prof.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Now, I got a result sheet from your area, and I thought I should speak with you, and somebody linked us up to you. Thank you for obliging us to talk to us. What happened in your area? Because when we are talking of 2019 elections, we are talking about the participation of the people and the results of those elections being declared appropriately, everybody agreeing that that is what happened. Can we take a brief from you on what indeed happened in Okbe?
Well, the example of what happened at Okpe on January 6th is a typical example of the fact that we only make statements without backing them up with action. Hello?
Yeah, we are hearing you. Go on.
Now, I have evidences of 4 councillors who were voted and the returning officers gave them certificates of return.
At the police center?
But, yes.
Okay.
The results were announced. And then they now went to Asaba to announce the PDP candidates who failed.
I also saw, Prof, I also saw one of that. I initially thought that result sheet was not probably correct. It could be fake, but...
The local government headquarters, which is Ororokpe, the 2 councillors in the headquarters were won by APC members. And they were given certificate of return by the returning officers.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the one you have.
Mm-hmm. What happened? Then what happened?
That is the question we are asking. That is the question. If you have given the certificate of return to somebody and then you now turn back and go to Asaba to announce another result, what does it amount to? Is that not criminality?
Prof, let me ask you this question. From from my knowledge of covering elections, have never seen where certificates of return were issued at the polling booth. They were usually issued from the headquarters of the electoral body. Is the situation in Delta different from other places?
No, when it is councillorship election. The councillorship election, there is a collating center in each ward.
Yes.
Not, you are talking of the House of Assembly election, governorship election, and presidential election. That's the one you have to, that's INEC. When it is the local government election, at the collating center, where the councillor contested, the units, the results of the units are collated, and the collating center of the ward, the result is announced there.
Okay, now let's get it very clear. The collation center for councillorship elections should not take place in Asaba.
No, not at all.
Okay, it should take place at the local government headquarters of
No, at the ward.
At the ward
yes.
collation center. So any result that is declared at that ward center ought to be the final.
That's all.
So
that's the law.
What are the next courses of action that you want to take?
What are you are the leader of the party in that area. What is the next course of action? What are you thinking? What are the steps you are taking?
Well, as at yesterday, our people mobilized and we have protested. There was a massive protest in Oruro by the headquarters, and the APC is not willing to take it. We are not taking it lightly.
Are you going to court?
We are not going to accept it. We are going to court, of course.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, and we thought we should be able to get somebody local, somebody's at the local level who at the PDP, at the PDP local level, who should be able to tell us what the other side. We don't want to take it to the national level, although Kola Ologbondiyan will not have a choice than to tell us what he knows about the conduct of election, because it speaks for the PDP nationwide, in fact worldwide. So he's going to join us, but we don't. I hope he can give us the details as much as we would love to see. But the essence of bringing this one up is to tell people that if local government elections cannot be conducted well and everybody accept the result, then you now wonder what happens.
Ohira, I know it's the state independent electoral commissions CX that conduct elections at the state level. There have been attempts in the past to strip them of that responsibility.
I think the National Assembly has actually gone.
There were attempts in the past, but it's not been successful. Those that propagate the issue of federalism will tell you no.
Ojo, has the National Assembly not passed it?
No. They're working at it.
So it cuts across. States, if ABGA under Anambra conducts the election today, 100% ABGA will victory. PDP state-controlled conducts 100%. Same with APC. And the funny thing is, and the dangerous dimension is that we keep quiet. We gloss over this. when it happens, we gloss over it saying, that's how they behave, without understanding and
the implications
on our democracy. If we must build this democracy, we must start from the base. We must get it right. And how do we get it right? We need to do some amendments of our laws. Who appoints the SEC chairman and his other members? What are the roles?
Are they independent?
How do we ensure that they become independent? We need to tackle that problem at the root.
I think that so long as the state governments are in charge of that election, what we will keep having may not be different from what is happening right now, because every man tries to protect his interest in his territory, the territory that he has power over. But I recall that in Lagos State, there was one time that they had a difference, and that was in Ekpe local government.
Yes, I remember too.
Exactly. You know, where the opposition was able to win the local council chairmanship at that time by the sheer will and determination of the people.
It was also it was wind assisted, as they will put it in those who fly aviation. It was assisted by a protest vote. Those who didn't get the ticket.
Exactly. But at least the important thing to note is that they were able to pull it through. Yeah. It's possible, and
let me bring caller. Let me bring caller so that it doesn't stay too long and it's just anxious to say something. Caller, say something. So caller Ologbodiyan is the spokesperson of the PDP. Thank you for joining us.
First, I want to welcome you back to Nigeria. I'm back to your job, and I thank you for bringing me in this morning. I have followed the Delta local government election in the media.
Where the PDP, your party, decided that no other party should win.
No, that's not correct. I followed in the media, and I remember APC said in protest they were not participating in that election.
No, that's the rerun.
That's the rerun. That's the rerun, yes. We are talking of the real one that they did.
The real election.
Yes.
I know the person of the governor, and I will not believe that he will have a hand in changing results. And I know
these people could do it.
I know the governor is a gentleman. I know the governor loves democracy. He's a former senator, and I do not believe the APC story that certificate of return was issued at the polling unit.
That
cannot be a certificate of return.
No, it's not a certificate of return. He didn't say certificate. He said the certificate he said the certificate of return that was issued by in the office of SEC. That is the Delta State that was issued was different from the result that was declared at the collation center of the ward.
Well, it's going to be his words against the words of the electoral officer of that polling unit. And unfortunately, you cannot reach the electoral officer.
No, unfortunately, I have not been able. We should be able to reach them, if not today, tomorrow.
So somebody cannot doctor a result in Delta and transfer it to Abuja to be read and claim that this is the actual. How do we know? Has he sent what he called the fake result? What is he relying on now as the change result? Did he send a copy to you?
I have a copy
of the change result.
No, yes, I have the certificate of return. A copy of the
certificate of return.
No, issued to the PDP candidate.
Yes.
The PDP candidate has a certificate of return that is elected. Yes. Then the result declared at the ward level. Yes. Also have it that belongs to the APC.
Yes. Did you also have the result that was declared at the polling unit level for the PDP candidate?
Okay, so maybe they collected that somewhere else.
No. You can't say they collected somewhere else. The man who is making allegation must prove beyond every reasonable doubt. He must be able to present what he claimed to be the original result
as against
what he claimed was issued. He does not just come up with a certificate of return and say no, there was no result to the only issue certificate.
Well, they have said they are going to do that. They have said they are going to do that.
That could not be correct. So let's leave it at that. And for me, I believe that the process in Delta was credible and fair. And I know it as a matter of fact that there is no way APC will claim to have won election in Delta State.
Even one councillorship.
There are pockets of powers in all the states for political parties.
You are correct.
You cannot really say in a state you just have. Dr. Amechi has answered the question just now that it doesn't really matter. We are talking of PDP now. If you go to APC states, PDP will not. They will say there's no PDP in existence at all, and it's not possible for there not to be pocket of powers at ward levels. There are political leaders, even at the councillorship level. It's just impossible. The Fulani herdsmen, I have said, as my own opinion, that we have incompetence and lack of capacity.
I listen to you.
In Nigeria.
I listen to you.
It is not a matter of Buhari or an Obasanjo or Agbon Suremi. It is a matter of all of us not sincere. The Fulani herdsmen are Nigerians.
You might not be correct on that.
I'm coming. They are Nigerians.
You might not be correct on
I'm coming. Now, these Fulani herdsmen are Nigerians. They have lived with us for a very long time. These farmers, they are Nigerians. They have lived amongst themselves over a long time. Is it not possible for us to really sit down and find a solution to the problem?
You see, we must get something very clear from my understanding of the situation as we have it presently. I have been very cautious, and our party has been very cautious in making
statements,
in overreacting to this issue, because what the government needs to do first and foremost is to find out this crisis. Are the Fulanis who are Nigerians responsible for them, or is it rustlers or mercenaries who are hired from foreign countries
to come and perpetrate
this crime? We need to get that first, and that is where I think the government is. That is an area where I think the government is not working or is not being realistic. Because if you are going into a war, you must be able to identify who your enemy is.
So who should sit down and do this? Who should sit down and?
Is the responsibility of the federal government to protect lives now? It is the responsibility of the federal government to protect lives. So the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari must come out sincerely, do its research, come out with verifiable evidences to ascertain
and
who
come
are
up with a
those
solution.
Responsible. You see, they talk about, if you remember, not too long ago, the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, was quoted as saying that if you hit a Fulani person, I don't know whether it was true.
It was his tweet that if you kill a Fulani man, you have a debt that
it will take 10 years.
Yeah, that you have a debt that you have to pay.
There are cases like that where there had been communal fighting, not the type that is happening in Benue now. Because what is happening in Benue, as far as I'm concerned, is not a communal fight. You understand? Because if you talk about communal fighting, you will know that, so and so person came from so and so community to
fight,
attack this community. Well, we are talking about marauders, you understand, who have no bearing in that area, who were just told that,
probably having no location.
Yes, these people kill our people, come and fight for us. That's the situation we have. And the government will be sincere enough to address that.
All right. When we come back tomorrow, we expect you to also share with us your views. And please don't talk in anger. Don't write to us in anger. We want solutions. We don't want to. We don't want to call ourselves names. We want solutions to the problems. Write to us, and we assure you we will put all of them together and share the views with our viewers and our listeners out there. My name is Okiri Agbon Suremi. Please do have a wonderful day.
Bust it.